Welcome back to Hong Kong Direct. Great to talk about past memorable races from Champions Day in years gone by. But let's now focus on the here and now. On Tuesday morning at the Barrier Trials, we had 3 horses strutting their stuff as they complete their preparations for the big day on Sunday week. And they're the focus for Trial File on this occasion.
Batch number 1 of 10 this morning on the turf at Sha Tin. They're underway, and Bigwood was a little bit slow, not quite as slow as New Future, who got back in General's Delight. There was good speed from Guritis in the centre of the track. He leads with Capital Star. 300 metres left to go. Capital Star, Guritis, Bigwood in the centre, followed by Happy Land, General's Delight. Then came Power Kept, but it's Capital Star going well. Bigwood there to challenge. General's Delight laying down the challenge on the outside, late down towards the post, and it's close between Capital Star and General's Delight. I think that order, though, they were followed by Bigwood, and then came Power Kep, who did his best work late. Then came Ratton, followed in turn by Above. There followed by Happy Land, and then came Guritis, and New Future was always at the rear.
He tried okay. He only had a quiet one. He had a bit of an injury setback recently, but he's nice and free in his action, and he's moving well, and hopefully Richard can get him back to his best form.
Batch 7, 1600 metres, gates fly, they're underway, and Dong Jusui, after playing up in the gates before the off, missed the start. He gets back with Smiling Time. Exultant first away with Great Treasure and Lucky Turbo. Lying fourth is Entrusted, followed there by Charity Go. Then came Top Accolade down on the inside. Fast Flash Furious came next with Furore in the centre. Great Treasure's drifting back, followed by Dong Jusui. In the centre, Smiling Time, followed by Packing Waltham, and last of all is Enjoying. Turning for home at the 500 metres. Great Treasures out deeper. Top Accolade over on the inside. Packing Waltham moving into it. Followed there by Smiling Time. And then came Fast Flash Furious, who's well back with Enjoying, and Donk Jusui. It's Packing Waltham, who's ranged up in the outer part of the track. Now leads half a length on Exultant. Furore, Great Treasure. Then came Charity Go. Smiling Time down on the inside. Entrusted. Packing Waltham in front. Packing Waltham doing that bit better. He beats home Exultant. Furore third. And fourth, maybe Smiling Time in front of Entrusted and Great Treasure. Donk Jusui came next, followed there by Charity Go, Enjoying, and then came at the head of the rest behind them was Fast Flash Furious, Top Accolade, and one of the last was Lucky Turbo.
It was pretty good. He was left there in the gate for too long, so he didn't really jump very well, but during the trial, he traveled very comfortable across the line with plenty of force underneath. So I'm quite excited to see how he's going to perform when it comes to the big day.
You're riding him on the big day in the QEII?
Yes, and I'm booked to ride him, and he's no doubt one of the local horses to represent Hong Kong, and I guess he's not going to disgrace. He's going to go good.
Yes, nice trials there from both Furore and Exultant, who's not a noted morning galloper. He's not the best at the trials, but that was a good trial from him. And Ratton, nice to see him back. That was his first trial for quite some time. We haven't seen him at the races since December, but he's got a good record fresh, and he has performed well in the Chairman Sprint Prize in the past. However, those 3 are going to have to bring their A game. They're taking on some top-class horses from Japan. And for the lowdown on the 5 Japanese challengers for FWD Champions Day. Earlier this week, I caught up with Murray Johnson, a Japanese-based race caller, and I started off by asking him about Glory Vase.
I think this race kind of suits him. And, of course, he hasn't quite lived up to that since. And he's always had issues. He's always needed to have breaks in between starts. But this race might even play into his hands. And I think Karis Teton's got the right, if that's correct.
Yes.
So, he's had experience dealing with Japanese trainers on that brief period of time that he came to Japan. I think he's fairly well respected by many of the trainers here as well. So I think that's a plus for the horse. And he knows what it takes to win there. So maybe the vase doesn't have to worry about the vase this time. But whatever you call him, I think he's in with a shot.
Ran fourth in the Kinko show last time out. What's his sort of form been like since we saw him here in Hong Kong, Murray?
Well, he hasn't really, as I say, he hasn't really gone on. He's gone close. He's gone very close. And I think he's just knocking on the door, and he's that sort of horse. He is quirky, and he also has, leg issues. So those are not a problem right now. He's really going well through his work. And I think once he lands, which of course he hits the ground running, metaphorically and physically speaking, I think he might be a part of a Japanese trifecta.
Kiseki, we've seen him before. He had a vet issue that day, so we didn't get a line on how good he is. He hasn't won for a while, but geez, run some good races in defeat, Murray.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Japan Cup to Armadillo was probably his bravest run. He tried it again the following year, and that didn't come off either. But I really think 2000 suits him. Chad picks up the ride, of course, and that'll be an interesting ride for him because obviously I don't know what connections are going to say to Chad, but I believe the right way to ride him is to probably chase Time Warp. Time Warp will naturally go to the front. This horse can really stride and get rolling. If he's held up a little bit, he's a big striding horse, and you know the track is a little tighter than what he prefers. But I think if he's allowed to roll freely, he might be one of the horses that features in the trifecta. So I know there are 4 Japanese horses in it, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did run 1, 2, 3.
Daring Tack, you've called a lot of superstars in your time in Japan, Murray. She's the Phillies Triple Crown winner from last year. Is she a star in her own right?
Yeah, this, of course, being a first trip overseas might be a bit of a problem. And also the trainer is quite inexperienced in that as well. So there has to be some issues there. Of course, unfortunately, she copped a wet track last time and got beaten by a 250-1 shot Gibeon. And there was some concern, I thought, for many people that maybe she wouldn't go to Hong Kong, but they were determined to take her. And I think the experience will be good for her. Now, as you know, the 2,000-meter barrier, the gate draw is essential. If you draw inside, you're in with a real strong chance. If you're drawn out wide, I think they'll make it pretty tough for her. So I think all the jockeys, the locals, and ones riding the Japanese horses, if she draws in the car park, it won't be an easy run. If she draws inside, she certainly can win it.
Just looking at her racing style at a couple of her recent replays, is she a midfield or further back horse and come with a run at them in the home stretch type, Murray?
Yeah, they did try to push her forward a little further in the previous run, but I think that might have something to do with the ground. Normally, she does get back in her races, but she works through the race. It's not like she gets there and has to sprint over the last 200. She's normally with them at about the 5 or 6. So within striking distance. So I anticipate as she approaches the home corner just before at Sha Tin, she'll be right in the mix.
Loves Only You. She's proven overseas now with that narrow defeat in Dubai. She's an Oaks winner in her own right. What can you tell us about her?
Yeah, my concern for her is she's been in 50-degree heat for quite some time. The track worker has been with her all that time, and they've just been turning her over. Now, she's got to travel from Dubai. She gets, I think, about a week and a bit before she has to run. I don't think it's an ideal prep coming from 50-degree heat to, okay, it's warm in Hong Kong. But I don't think it's the ideal situation after having gone through what ended up being a pretty grueling run. I don't think Chronogenesis thinks any better or worse of the horse since that race, but things didn't quite pan out as well as they probably should have. I would suspect that out of the 4 Japanese horses, I think maybe she's the one that runs 4th. As you know, I've been wrong before, Ed, but I suggest the heat of Dubai could be a factor.
Okay, so you think it could be a Japanese trifecta, in fact. What would be the pecking order you would have them in, Murray?
Yeah, well, it depends on the draw. I'll state that straight up. But I'm going to go Glory Vase from Kiseki, Daring Tact, and then Loves Only You.
And in the sprint, we've got Down on Smash. He was able to draw barrier 14, come over here and win the Hong Kong sprint in December. What can you tell us about the strength of that win and the Takamatsu Nomiya Kinnan since then, Murray?
Well, that was huge because the horse had not a likening for the track before. I presume, and as we've often heard this expression, it's amazing how winning boosts their confidence. I think the Hong Kong win gave him that extra confidence, and he found an extra leg in the last 50 meters in the Takamatsu Nomiya. I can tell you he will win the sprint, and he is in better shape now than he was before he went to Hong Kong last time and before he went to the Takamatsu Nomiya Kinnan. the training staff are absolutely blown away of how, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get Joe Moreira to ride the horse a few times in the lead up to the race, just to pull him back a bit, because he's raring to run.
So Murray's particularly bullish about the hopes of Danon Smash and the Chairman's Sprint Prize, and also picking Glory Vay's pre-draw as his pick for the QEII Cup. Great to catch up with Murray there too, the voice of Japanese racing to those of us in the English-speaking world. We're almost out of time on this edition of Hong Kong Direct. Before we get to Champions Day though, we've got racing on Saturday at Sha Tin, a 10-race card. The trackside live coverage commences at 12:30. Wednesday night we're back at Happy Valley, and then Sunday the 25th of April, put the date down in your diary, 3 Group 1 contests over 3 different distances worth a combined $63 million in prize money. And you can go to the website and to Twitter for all the build-up towards one of the biggest events in world racing. We're going to leave you though by continuing on with the Japanese theme. It's a race, the QE2, the Japanese have had great success in the past. And what a performance it was in 2012 by rulership. A dazzling display by him to win the QE2 Cup. So we'll leave you with this performance from him. We look forward to your company at Sha Tin on Saturday.
Fei full of running, strides to the front by a length to Treasure Beach, who parks up in second. Rulership third, Pure Champion fourth. Zidane 3 back the fence, then Collection 3 wide around Mr. Medici. Sweet Orange will need some luck back on the fence, then Irian from Viscount Nelson. Chin China second last is Thumbs Up, and California Memory is last as they work out of the back straight now. And it's Fei cruising in the lead from Treasure Beach in second. Tucked away third on the inside, Rulership, then Pure Champion. Collections had no luck, followed by Zidane, Mr. Medici. Irian's going forward now in a 3-wide position. Back on the inside, Sweet Orange from Viscount Nelson. Thumbs Up pulling to the outside from Chin China, and California Memory is last of the field, starts to pack up now. And Fei, the Derby winner, will turn for home with a narrow margin on Treasure Beach, has been called upon from Spencer. White's come off the fence, and Rispoli takes the run on the Japanese runner Rulership, and Rulership races to the lead and kicked away from Fei and Treasure Beach. Zidane runs on the fence, then Pure Champion, Irian, Thumbs Up, and California Memory, but away goes Rulership. He's destroying his rivals in the QE2 Cup. Zidane, Thumbs Up, and California Memory. Sweet Orange when it's all over, but Umberto Rispoli takes out the QE2 Cup on Rulership.